Alright, now we're on issue number 10 of Absolute Wonder Woman, and for those of you who don't remember what happened in issue 9, Dr. Poison almost got obliterated by Wonder Woman, but to stop her in her tracks, she unveiled something that she knew Diana would want to hear. She knew the location of one of Diana's Amazonian sisters. But the catch is that this supposed Amazon was trapped inside a maze, sealed off from the rest of the world, and it's also filled with other creatures. Very dangerous one. But this did not deter Diana as she prepared her spells, created her own door, and willingly walked into this maze. And immediately things went wrong. After finding a minotaur named Ferdinand and helping him fight through a bunch of fish people to protect a siren, it turns out this supposed Amazon is no Amazon at all. This is absolute Queen Clea, and this is where we left off on the last issue, so let's get into it. As we see Diana thinking back on current events, realizing that anytime she makes new friends, she also makes new enemies. Either way, Diana knows she doesn't have all the information. Ferdinand wasn't able to tell her exactly why Queen Clea wants Petra. On top of that, with Petra being a siren, she's surprised she hasn't already flattened everyone in this corridor with her deadly song. Which means for now, it looks like the kid may be mute, making her helpless. And with Diana knowing Queen Clea is bad news, she knows she needs to lead the charge in this fight, which is exactly what she does, taking advantage of the small space to clear out some of the fishmen, making sure they don't surround them. And with Diana leading the charge, she destroys these fishmen, cutting them to pieces, tossing them aside. They do not stand a chance, and at this point, they're just things in her way. And with Ferdinand and Diana ripping these guys to pieces, we see them preparing a ballista. Take notice of how Queen Clea is just standing on top of the fishmen. For those of you who don't know, OG Queen Clea has been an adversary of Wonder Woman since the 40s, and she is in fact an Atlantean, so it makes sense these fishmen are on her nuts doing everything she says, even allowing themselves to be treated like trash. As she tells them to load up the ballista, and we see Ferdinand stand in front of Diana, looking like he's about to take the shot. And unfortunately, he takes multiple ballista shots, sacrificing himself for Diana and Petra, begging her to get Petra out of there. And Diana begs him not to give up and to have faith in her, as she will return for him. She swears it on her own name. But standing in front of Diana and Petra like this served two purposes. Not only did he take multiple ballista shots, but eventually when he does collapse from his damage and he's taken prisoner, the fishmen realize Diana and Petra are gone. He used his body to allow them to make a swift escape. This completely pisses off Queen Clea as she commands all of her fishmen to kill Diana and find Petra. No matter what, she needs Petra alive. And as Diana continues to run with Petra, we get a flashback picking up right where we were on the last issue, with Circe giving Diana all of her armor and making sure she can go meet Artemis. And I love how Circe explains Diana. It sounds exactly like how people explain Superman, how Superman has this kind of effect on people. She says, "There are many things I might say to you, Diana, but they feel redundant. I don't have to give you advice because you'll know what to do, what is right. It is almost hypnotic to experience you. The vortex of your charm and compassion is bewildering to behold. It leaves one breathless and aching to be better." And as she tells Diana to trust in herself, we see baby Diana letting her know, "It's okay, I'm not afraid of gods." So she's already a little badass, even though she's getting help to pick up one axe. I just thought it was really cool how she explained Diana. I've been thinking this since I've been reading these issues, and I'm pretty behind in Absolute Superman. I think I'm on like issue number 4, so maybe he'll grow into it. But for now, it always felt like of Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, Absolute Wonder Woman is the one that feels the most like Superman. The effects she has on people, the way they describe her, it feels like she is the Superman of the Trinity. But now it is time for baby Diana to meet this god, and I gotta say she looks absolutely adorable with her little armor and her little axe, as we see a panther covered in blood greeting Diana. And we see Diana simply telling her, "Hello, I am Diana of the Wild Owl, welcome to my home," showing absolutely no fear. I know if this were me, I'd be terrified. But baby Diana stays calm. "We do not have much, but what we have is yours." Now the panther tries to get all tough, saying "I will take it all," but Diana remains calm. "If you need it, it is yours." And this nonchalant attitude is starting to piss off this goddess as she demands Diana defend herself. And she tries a lot of different ways to goad Diana into a fight, but as she lets her know, she will not fight her for no reason. The goddess takes this as weakness, but Diana makes it very clear. She is strong. She's been in hell for quite some time now. She's met all kinds of terrible creatures. All they know how to do is kick and hiss and bite, but eventually, after she shows them, they can be different. She knows she can show them another way. And we've seen throughout her and Circe's house that there are tons of little demons that love Diana. If Diana is able to change literal demons of hell, she knows anything and anyone can change. So the goddess takes it a step further by actually biting Diana's arm and trying to force her to fight. But Diana still refuses. She will not be tricked into a senseless battle, and even at this age, her resolve is unwavering. But the goddess finally takes it too far, attacking one of the creatures of hell, an innocent little turtle. And this is where Diana draws draws the line. See, the creatures of hell are under her protection. And this innocent turtle did nothing wrong, so goddess or no goddess, no harm will come to this creature. As we see Diana conjuring some magic, ready to do battle. And this honestly makes the goddess very happy. She finally sees the true side of Diana, as she simply replies, "So stop me." And boy does Diana try. This is why I love Wonder Woman, absolute or no absolute. She will not duck a fade. They get into a bloody, brutal battle, as Diana does everything she can, possibly sacrificing her own life for this one turtle, because this is who Diana is. And we see Circe sitting in her home worried as the door opens and she calls out to Diana, but there is no reply. And this makes her worried as she now runs out constantly calling Diana's name, but she can't see her and she can't hear her. All she sees is Artemis in this panther form standing there menacingly. But eventually she does find Diana, brutally beaten by the goddess. But in a way, Diana does still get a win because she was actually able to successfully protect the turtle, even naming it Nico. And it's kinda crazy how hard Artemis really went on her. They do not take it easy here in hell. And obviously as her mother, this really bothers Circe as she begs Hecate to intercede. She thinks this is way too much, way too early for Diana. She doesn't want Artemis to keep beating her kid to a pulp. But Hecate begs to differ. It's actually too late. They need to fashion Diana into a weapon. The entire point of Diana's existence is to be an undefeatable weapon and disrupt the cruelty of the gods. Circe just doesn't understand how if all they wanted to do was make this incorruptible, undefeatable weapon, why did they also make her a kind little girl? She feels like that choice alone was incredibly cruel. And Hecate actually takes the time to explain why Diana is the way she is. As she says, she is a little girl because men are dismissive of little girls, and thus she will be unseen. She is the kindest human being we could possibly conceive of because that, above everything else, is what monsters do not understand. But also, she is simply herself, Circe. I don't know that any of us could even have imagined her this way. This pure, this compassionate, this full of love. She is a miracle. They will never understand her, and that is an advantage too. But she makes it pretty clear to Circe, this is not a perfect world, and maybe if it were, they could have Diana molded in a different way. But the world is what it is, and this is what they have to do for Diana to become who she needs to become. So although she understands Circe's concerns, honestly, it is what it is. Circe and all of the gods that are on Diana's side are gonna have to do what they have to do to make sure she can succeed. And at the end of the day, she just hopes Circe can have enough faith and hope that they're all doing the right thing. Because everything they're doing for Diana, this is all just the beginning. We get back to the present where we see Diana still running with Petra. And it's pretty clear at this point that Petra is definitely mute as she is simply pointing to her hiding spot. But Diana makes it clear that's not where they're going. They're going to where Diana created the door so that she can get Petra out of here. It's genuinely the only way she knows Petra will survive, as she did make a promise to go save Ferdinand. And it's pretty cool because in the last issue, Diana was very annoyed with her heightened sense of smell. She smelled terrible things when she first came into this maze. But now, that same heightened sense of smell is the reason she's able to save Petra, because Diana can smell where she opened that door last. As she's now grateful that she has this sense of smell, and she realizes you don't really know what can save you. And as she continues to use this sense of smell, she finds where she made that door, recreates it, and puts Petra through it. But not before giving her word that she will not leave this maze without Ferdinand. Now she's given her word twice. Diana is really gonna have to find a way to save Ferdinand, kill all these fishmen, and defeat Queen Clea. Or if she's lucky, maybe she can save him without having to go through everyone else. But we see Petra is finally in the real world and she immediately falls unconscious because she's been through a lot even before Diana showed up. And it's kind of funny that because of how strange things have been since Diana showed up, they don't really know if this is Diana. We've already seen her transform into the literal Medusa, so they're not exactly sure what to do. But for starters, they do get Petra some water as we catch back up with Diana. And when she gets back into the maze, immediately she's hit with a powerful hallucinogenic. And it's surprising to see Diana so confused. She doesn't know if she should run, if she should breathe, what she should do to get away from this spell. But unfortunately, there's nothing she can do, as now she's hallucinating different monsters. And honestly, this hallucinogenic really breaks Diana down. She's having a hard time thinking and she knows she's being drawn towards somewhere, but she goes anyway, and she actually walks right into a trap, as Queen Clea and her fishmen have led Diana into something she's calling the pit. But the hallucinogen is only temporary, and slowly Diana is starting to think, and she fights back against the fishmen, as we see Clea talking all kinds of shit about her own minions, talking about how stupid they are, and how surprised she is that they were able to conquer anything. And Clea learns pretty quickly that above all else, Diana is a hero, so all she needs to do is toss this innocent scientist down the pit, and Diana will willingly jump in. And Diana has to admit, Clea's a pretty quick study, because she tosses the scientist, and Diana jumps right in. And the artwork is really cool. Like, I wonder if this is their excuse for giving Diana a hallucinogen, is just so they can draw like this, because I really like it. Very colorful and vibrant, but either way, she's able to save the scientist, and she's really struggling to see. I was struggling to make out what the hell's going on too. But he begs her to stop moving so much and tells her that she's too big and that she may disrupt the flowers. He tries to warn her that if she continues to disturb the flowers, they'll go mad. And as Diana tries to cast a spell to get herself to focus a little more, something surprises her. Now this is where I'll need your help from people listening to this video. Does this look like anyone in Diana's rogues gallery? Because it's obviously hard to make out because she's still hallucinating, she doesn't know who this is, and all I can see from their dialogue is I am. Couldn't make out any of the other words, but this mysterious creature is the one that surprises Diana, as she's preparing to defend herself against this unknown being. And this is actually where the issue ends. And I know issue 11 recently came out, so we'll be covering that soon as well, and we'll finally be caught up on Absolute Wonder Woman. But I hope you guys enjoyed the issue, and I will catch you guys on the next one.